Hi, welcome everyone to another one of our hot-powered, inspiring interviews. And as every time we introduce you to an amazing entrepreneur, speaker, expert that shares priceless hints and tips and practical hints and tips that you can apply right away to bring your own speaking and your own business to a different level. Today, we have Carol Boston with us. She's an amazing powerhouse lady, and she's an ex-collegiate and professional tennis player who also had a highly successful career as a sales expert for Fortune 100 companies for more than 26 years. So she knows a lot about masterful selling. And she's also an award-winning speaker. She's an international best-selling author, and she's known as the queen of Reframe. Today, she helps female business owners to know their value, own their power, and advocate for themselves so they rise up and become the lioness and lion leaders that they were created to be, resulting in many of them doubling and tripling their income in their business. And if you want to double or triple your income, you're in the right place. Let's just find out how Carol is doing that in her own business, what tools and methods she uses that you can apply yourself. Carol, amazing to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So we always learn best from best practices from other entrepreneurs and speakers, right? So what are your top 3 things that you do in your business and in your speaking right now to bring everything to a different level again?
Top 3 things. 1, I would say you have to become a professional athlete in your business. What does that mean? A professional athlete shows up every day, no matter what they feel like, right? Oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we get tired or we get discouraged. And so then we don't show up. Maybe we watch Netflix or we scroll on Instagram or whatever. But you really want to make your business grow. Think about being a professional athlete. What else does a professional athlete do? They always have a good coach. If you're in business and you haven't hired a good coach, nobody does it alone. Look at Michael Jordan, the famous basketball player. At one point, he had 13 coaches. He had a hand coach. He had a coach for speed, because nobody's an expert in all quadrants of your life, right? Another thing professional athletes do is they practice when everybody else is resting. And no, that doesn't mean I advocate you being a workaholic, but there are times when we can hone and practice our skill when other people are taking off so that we're one step ahead of the game. That would be the first thing I tell you. The second thing I do every day is I set out 3 bite-sized, digestible, doable things that I can do. And I celebrate each one of them without judgment. Now, one of my clients, for example, her biggest challenge was not hitting the snooze button on her clock 10 times, right? 7 times. She used to hit the snooze button 7 times. What a waste of time, right? And so we began to work together, and this art of celebration, we don't have time to go into exactly how it works today because it's neuro-linguistic programming way to celebrate. But over the course, she'd been doing this for years. And when she learned how to celebrate each time, it was less than 2 months. She went from hitting the snooze button 7 times for years and years and years to getting out of bed and getting active, right? So that was her simple, bite-sized, digestible, doable thing, was to stop hitting the snooze button. So she went from 7 to 6 all the way down. So that's super, super important. And it's important that you do it without judgment. You get into action and you don't go, oh, well, that sucked. No, you say, this worked. This didn't give me the result I wanted. There's no judgment in that, right? What can I tweak over here? What can I do differently to get the result I'm looking for? So that keeps you out of your emotions. And the third thing is, and if your audience is listening, I hope they got pen and paper, because we're going to talk about a writer downer. A big writer downer is empowering questions. Yes, I am known as the queen of reframe. You can give me any challenge and I can quickly reframe it for you, give you a whole new perspective, and then give you some action steps to put into place to get immediate results. I'm really, really good at getting people into action to get immediate results. What is an empowering question? Here's your first writer downer. An empowering question causes you to ponder. It causes you to wonder. It opens the door to possibility. It takes the emotion out of conversations. Who wouldn't like to have fewer arguments? Come on. Our emotions get involved. It allows you to get the other person on the same page as you faster and with less resistance, right? So I think I shared with you that my next book is going to be called You Can't Read the Label When You're Inside a Jar. And we're all in a jar. But the answers you need are lying right outside of your jar because you don't know how to ask the right questions to get those answers to come to fruition for you. Here's a writer downer. An empowering question never, ever, ever starts with the word why, ever. Why brings in defensiveness, which brings in emotions, the ego, then that brings in emotions. And when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. It's true for every person. You're not going to get the answer that you're looking for by asking why. One of my clients said, well, my children ask me why all the time. I said, of course they do. They don't know how to articulate the right question to get the answer that they're looking for, right? And think about what Einstein said. He said, if I had to come up with an answer and my life depended on it, and I had 1 hour and it was do or die, I would spend the first 55 minutes working to craft the right question. Because once I have the right question, getting the answer wouldn't take me more than 5 minutes. Getting the answer is easy. And it was Voltaire who said, judge a man not by his answers, you judge him by his questions. So an empowering, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, please, you can.
I just, again, you know what? I think everyone that's here with us right now wants to know, okay, so Carol, tell us, like what is one of your greatest challenges that you have faced recently? And, the seven times snooze button hitting, right? I mean, I like the example. And you say that, you are working with your clients on really, again, getting them out of whatever negative habit or, get them their challenge solved. What is one of your bigger challenges that you faced recently? And how did you solve it? What are the concrete steps? What do you do with your clients to stop hitting the snooze button? So what are concrete things?
Stop hitting this. I don't hit the snooze button. That's a good thing, right? The first thing is clarity, because clarity is power. I help my clients get clear on who they were truly created to be so they can step into that. Because I believe that most people are caught in the tension of two truths: the truth of who you think you are based on your experience and what people tell you, and the truth of who you were truly created to be. I get my clients to step into who they were truly created to be. And we do that by crafting empowered statements. When you have your empowered statements that always has an embedded presupposition, you can then craft your empowering question. So when I'm challenged and I'm not getting the results I'm looking for, here's an empowering question. An empowering question starts with what, who, how, and sometimes where. So I will literally ask myself, there has been times in my business, it's been on a roller coaster. And there have been times over the last 5 years that I was actually helping my clients make more money than I was making. And so I would stop and ask myself, what one thing, because they have to be specific and time bound, what one thing that I'm not doing today, that if I were to do it, would radically elevate my business? The key is I don't sit around and try to figure out the answer, because the answer is outside of my jar, and I cannot be attached to the outcome. How many times has a solution come to us? Oh, I don't want to do that, right? Because we were attached to what it looked like. You could ask yourself, maybe you're having a challenge in your mindset. What one thought that I don't have today, that if I were to adopt it, would change everything for me immediately? That is a powerful, empowering question. And with empowering questions, you put them out loud to God in the universe 6 to 8 times a day and go right back to what you're doing. Because if you had the answer inside your jar, you wouldn't have the need to ask the question, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So what is one of the challenges that you faced and how did you solve it yourself?
Oh, one of my challenges was when I was deciding on my target market for my first high-end mastermind. And I kept looking for somebody else who I thought knew more, right? I wanted somebody to tell me what to do. And I realized that in this area, because it was new to me, come on, entrepreneurs, when you step into something new, how easy is it to say, somebody else knows more, somebody else can do it better. But here's the thing. God didn't give your vision to anybody else. He gave it to you. And I knew that my vision was to help female family lawyers, a very narrow niche. And so I began asking myself empowering questions around that area and the area of trusting. Well, what one experience have I had that proves that this is my target market? Well, I've had great success with 4 female family lawyers, great success in my private coaching practice. There was evidence right there. And I did the second and third layer work to figure out, where did that come from? That not trusting me to step out into something that nobody else is doing. Because trust me, they don't even know what a mastermind is. I've interviewed 26 of them. Nobody else is doing it. And so that asking those empowering questions and then just taking action. I started picking up the phone and cold calling attorneys across the country to interview them. Sometimes it's just a matter, get into action. People tell me, well, Carol, I don't have enough confidence. And I tell them, confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a decision to act. You get into action, you celebrate the action without judgment, and you keep moving. And the confidence comes because what? You're taking steps every day. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, perfect. I love it. And, again, it's like, I think it's such a powerful tool to use these power questions, right? And again, it's, what they empower us to do is really kind of, we switch our perspective. We see new possibilities. Okay.
Yes.
We, as you say, we get proof on, are we on the right path? Okay. I think there's so many ways of how we can use these kind of questions to grow our business in very powerful ways, right? Because often a lot of people are stuck, right?
Yes.
They say, I don't know the answers and I don't know where to find the answers. And then, again, they try reading books or all kinds of things. But again, all the answers often are inside of ourselves. And you're perfectly right. If you start asking the right questions, we get the right answers that bring us to at least a different place. And then
Yes.
we find out if that is the place we want to be, because the power questions will help us to find out, have you taken the right move or not? And we can always course correct things, right? So
absolutely. And think about it, every answer had a good question. Every answer has a question. And if you don't ask a good question, you're not going to get the answer that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And you also say that coaching is so important, right? I mean, that you say always hire, some support. So, again, how are you making a decision to hire a coach? What is your process of saying, hey, when do you identify I need a coach again? And how do you make the decision which coach is the right one for you?
I actually have 3 right now. 2 of them work in tandem, and they have 20 years experience creating high-end masterminds. Mm-hmm. Right? I knew that was an area that I wanted to add in my business. So I began interviewing. I suggest people interview coaches, right? Interview. It's like some people go through a process with me and I do not offer them my program. I just flat out tell them I'm not going to offer you my program. You're not a fit for my program. My program's not a fit for you, but I'm happy to refer you to somebody, right? Because I'm not for everybody.
Of course not.
Right? And everybody's not for me. The other area that I have a coach in right now is I wanted to do more successful selling from the stage. So I started looking, right, speaking at the stage. I'm a professional speaker. Yes, I've been hired by corporate America and everything. But when I go into corporate America, I don't get to sell from the stage. I already got paid. Make sense? And so I began following. I happen to work with Kristen Thompson. She does Rock Your Talk. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I didn't have a system. And she has a very easy, followable, if that's a word, system to help you rock your talk. She teaches you, I'm learning right now how to use it in webinars and workshops because I'm going to start doing workshops. And so I think twofold, look at their history, look at their past results, see if you resonate with them. I'm going to be straight up candid. And I would tell this man to his face, I do not resonate with Tony Robbins. I would never hire Tony Robbins. He's not my guy. Is he good? Of course he's good. He's not my guy.
Yep. There's something we can learn from everyone, right? We also learn what we love and what we don't, what's not in sync with who we are and what we prefer and how we prefer to do things, right? But again, there's
Exactly.
always something to pick up, right? So what I hear is, and I love your ideas of saying, first of all, get clear on where you need help.
Yes.
Like in your case, it's like, how do I run powerful masterminds? Because I want to support these female lawyers, right?
Yes.
And then also you look into, so first you look into, what are you looking for? Where do you need help? Where do you want to grow? What do you want to build? Okay. And what kind of insights do you need? And then you say, hey, I look around and I look at who might be the right person, and I check them out. I see, do I resonate with them? And if so, then I also like how you're saying, hey, I interview them, right? And that's what I like. It's also when we start working with someone, right? I mean, I'm having conversations with people that consider working with us and joining our speaker program, right? And again, it's always like a mutual check in the first place. Like, are we, is our chemistry in sync with each other, right? Do we like each other? Do you resonate with each other? It is what they need in sync with what we offer and how we are running things, right? Like with our speaker program, the same thing. We help people to really step up onto more stages and craft speeches that sell, and that don't only connect mind to mind, but heart to heart. But again, it's really powerful. And I always recommend everyone to have at least one coach or one mentor. And I always have several, right? And again, these are, again, ourselves as entrepreneurs, as speakers, we are brilliant in itself. But again, getting help, getting insights, getting best practices, getting like a step-by-step roadmap by other people that have done what we want to do, it's priceless. Okay. Great, Carol. And again, I love how you're speaking about, also not only getting inspired, but you also, I heard you say that you really emphasize also that taking action is important, because only when we take action, we get the results we want. And taking regular action means that, it becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, it gets easy. So I always love to ask our guests here, like, what is one habit that helped you shift everything to a different level? What is one of yours? What is one thing you regularly do to,
I shared it with you earlier. I don't start my day without having the 3 bite-sized, digestible, doable things that are going to move me closer to my goal. And I think they're so critical. I call them micros, and then bigger goals are macros. But here's the thing for me. We don't own our goal. Our goal is way out there, right? Our annual goal, our quarterly goal, it's out there. But we own our intention every day when we get up. Yes. So setting that intention with those 3 bites, and it doesn't mean I only do 3 in a day. I make sure that I do those 3 and I celebrate them. And then it's like, oh, what's next? How much time do I have left in my day? Or what's next? And we need to remember that these steps get us closer to our goal. Oftentimes people want to wake up and, made $100,000 this month overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't happen overnight. And that's where people get discouraged. But if you start celebrating the little things, God and the universe are going to give you more to celebrate. Oh, she likes that. Let me give her some more of that. Right. So that's why it's really clear that we focus on what we want and what we don't, instead of what we don't want. Makes sense? And
starting to take action on 3 critical things that get us closer to what we want, right? And you're saying that, making big money overnight doesn't happen. Well, it does happen, but only when many little steps have happened before. Right. So that's actually the success secret. Right. So I love it. Also, Carol, every time we like everyone that is here with us, and thank you, by the way, for all of you that are here with us right here, right now. Thank you for being loyal and getting inspired and picking up inspiration from our Heart Powered Inspiring interview series. It's great to have you. But we always want to give you a golden nugget and a little bit of a challenge. We like to give you something concrete that you can do today to turn the inspiration from the interview with Carol into concrete action. Carol, what is one thing everyone here can do today to, again, turn, maybe the idea around power questions into a concrete step, into a concrete action today?
Here's a writer downer for you. The most powerful of all empowering questions. You can use this in all areas of your life. It doesn't have to be just business. Remember, the caveat is you put it out loud 6 to 8 times a day. You cannot be attached to the outcome. Your job is not to figure it out. And it's what else is possible today? What else is possible today will open doors. If I had time to tell you client stories, it would boggle your mind, right? But you could even begin, you could take just use the word what. You could use what one thing, specific, and then you can craft it around anything. For example, maybe you're having challenges in your relationship. What if you got up every morning and said, what one thing that I'm not doing that if I were to do it would show my spouse how much I really, really love them today? Powerful. It changes relationships, our communication, but that is the most powerful of all. I have one of my past clients. She said, my children think I'm crazy. And I said, how come? She goes, I got these little stickies all over the wall. What else is possible today? What else is possible today? So she doesn't forget. And when I say they create Oprah aha moments, it's amazing. Because everybody's experienced that one time in their life, right? Like, oh my God, I never thought of that. That's what these questions do. They give you great insight. So that's a concrete tool. You can start right now with that. You could use the word what. Another one, here's a writer downer for you. Let's say that you're challenged in, doesn't matter if you're in getting sales in your business, if you're challenged in your relationship, you could ask this question. How can I show up differently today so that they can hear me? Think about it. What one thing can I say to this new prospect so that they immediately and excitedly sign up with me today?
Yeah.
We can prepare ourselves. I said this to someone yesterday. I said, if I knew how to craft empowering questions when I was in corporate America, I wouldn't be talking to you today. And she's like, you wouldn't? I go, hell no, I would have made a whole lot more money. I'd be retired, honey.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's make it very concrete. I recommend, and basically from what Carol is saying, is start using this powerful tool. And Carol, I start getting a sense of why you're called the queen of reframing. It's very powerful because again, using these power questions will reframe and again give you ideas of what else to do or how to do things. Okay, and once you start thinking differently, you will also feel differently. And when you feel differently, you take different action, and that gives you incredible results. Okay. So what I recommend all of you that are here with us today, why don't you just again write down 3 power questions, or at least 1, okay? Maybe if you're an overachiever, write down 3, okay? But find something you want to improve on in your business or in your life right now, and craft that power question, okay? Like what you said, like one thing that I'm not doing today that if I would do it today, that would change this around, right? Or what else is possible today? So I think Carol gave you a lot of ideas of how to phrase these questions. Write down at least 1 question a day, okay? Play with us. In a Hot Power Global Nation, we cheer you on, we support you. We'd like to know, what is your question? What are you doing with it? And how is it working for you? Okay. Great, Carol. You and I, we can keep talking forever. So let me know, how can people connect with you that would love to reframe things on their side so they double or triple their income, or they just really feel stuck in something and they need someone to help them find the right question that gets them out of it and really brings their business to a different level. Where can people find you?
You can email me, carol@carolboston.com. It's real simple. My social media is the @sign @THE @the Carol Boston. That gets you to Facebook, my business page on Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, and to LinkedIn. Feel free. My website is the same thing, www.carolboston.com. Connect with me there. Or just come over and friend me on Facebook and say, hey, let's chat.
Cool. Love it. Okay, thank you so much, Carol, for being with us, for inspiring us. Okay, I'm definitely going to pick this up and use it even more actively myself. I mean, of course, I know of the power of questions, and it's always funny how we are teaching other people to do it and how we can do it ourselves again, even at a different level. So thank you for inspiring me today. Thank you all for being on with us. Again, soon we will be back with another hot-powered inspiring interview. In the meantime, use the power questions to bring what you do to a different level, okay? And again, as I always say, speak up, scale up, impact the world in your own amazing way, and we'll be back soon, okay? Until then, keep rocking it, everyone. All the best. Cheers.